All right, Shantala Boss is a licensed mental health counselor joining us today. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by today. February 14th, obviously, 1 year ago today. We're not gonna forget that. It was a very tough day.
Definitely a very tough day.
How would you say this past year has affected the youth?
Well, unfortunately, I don't think our youth are new to violence within the school. I think we've already had a lot of active shooter drills going on way before this, a lot of anxiety regarding it. If anything, it's just made it even harder for our kids more than ever. As far as how far we've come this past year, there have been a lot of things put into place for the mental health of our students, and I think that that is really important, that we educate kids so that they aren't fearful when they go to school.
I remember when you could go to school and you didn't think about, you never thought about shootings in school. School was one of the safest places to be. Mm-hmm. And now that, now schools are, they're locked. The doors are locked during the day, and to get in, you have to get buzzed in. It's scary.
It is scary. Well, I think in today's day and age, with all of the internet, social media, and all the access to things that kids have now, unfortunately, it's a great thing to have technology, but in this case, gives them access to so many other things that they wouldn't have even thought of before.
Are schools, do you think, are schools more prepared in terms of mental health?
That is an interesting question, because they are definitely working harder. As far as being more prepared, it takes a lot of time. Several bills have been passed within the school system to offer more support.
Sure.
So a lot of new people have been hired, but in that process, a lot of new people need to get trained, and a lot of new systems need to be learned.
How would you rate, the school's local response after the Stoneman Douglas massacre?
Locally, our schools are working really hard. Every month the schools have meetings to follow up with any kids who've made any form of threat. Any threat to themselves or others. It may be on the playground, and they say, when we were growing up, someone says, "I'm going to kill you," and they get really mad. Now that's taken to a different level. So what we need to do is really educate parents more about how to talk to their kids when they're getting angry, when they're getting frustrated, maybe when their levels are kind of going higher, they're feeling, we say they're turning into red, maybe they were in the yellow, they were frustrated, and then they turn into the red zone. What can they do to express themselves more appropriately? Some parents still say things that are inappropriate. Now, in a school setting, if you say things like that, a parent's going to be called. Sometimes children have to be removed from school. It's a big deal.
Well, it's commonplace now in schools to see SROs, school resource officers, and armed guardians in schools. That's commonplace. That has to add to the anxiety, while maybe making at the same time, maybe making people feel safer. It's kind of a double. There's different ways to look at it.
Yeah, and school resource officers always usually have a lot of relationships with the kids, and they do other things like DARE or things to talk about,
Sure.
Students. So I think that it's almost like having a mentor, someone you look up to that you can talk to. And it's a good thing for kids, and it's also a good role model.
I've got a couple of seconds left. Tell me, what do you tell? How do you teach the young kids and the teens? What do you teach them?
Well, this is what's really important, and this is really where my passion is, because we throw all this money into the school system and say, let's hire more mental health counselors in the school system. And that's great because they can see the warning signs, they can offer advice for parents, and they can help with the process of making sure students are linked with services. But we can't do therapy in the school. And what my concern is that parents are going to see, the school now has all these resources, we don't have to worry. That is not it at all. That is totally the opposite. Parents need to be more involved now than ever, following up with their guidance counselor, following up with their school counselor, and talking to them and saying, what kind of things are you seeing? What's concerning you? Do I need to follow up and, contact my insurance company for outside therapy? Yes, there's support in the school. Yes, there's mental health support. But we don't talk about serious traumatic things and send a kid back to math class. That doesn't happen.
It's got to be teamwork.
It has to be teamwork. Absolutely.
Well, we'll be paying close attention to this. We're going to have you back, of course, on another topic that has to do with mental health counseling. Appreciate it. Shantala Boss.
Nice
We'll
to
see you soon.
All right.